In this week's episode, we explore the Salut Islands. They are, of course, the infamous Devil's Island in the north, the largest island, Ile Royale, and the most southerly island, St. Joseph's. These are part of French Guiana, situated on the north coast of South America. The French used these islands from the mid-1800s until 1953 as part of their penal colony system. Today, much of the accommodation has been renovated and is used as a tourist resort. It is also the site of the tracking station for the Ariane rockets, which are launched just up the coast in Kourou. The islands were made famous by Henry Carrier, who wrote a book about his incarceration on the islands, called Papillon. The book was turned into a film of the same name, and it starred Dustin Hoffman and Steve McQueen.
So here we are. Nice little sign to tell us where to go. Tour de Ile, Plateau, whatever the plateau is, and Maison du Directeur de Bague. He's showing you that he's still fit, but he's huffing and puffing at the top. I look as tired as I feel.
We're going to have to bring a box with us for Ali to stand on when we do little chats like this. This is the auberge. Have I pronounced that right? Auberge.
Yeah.
Which is like the restaurant.
They made it out of the mess hall that used to be for the guards and stuff.
Yeah. I must admit, it's all beautifully manicured, beautifully kept. Credit to them. We just had a beer and a Coke and it was €8, which, yeah, okay, it's €8, quite a lot, but not really when you consider where we are and how difficult it is to get the stuff here. Unfortunately for us, no internet, so we won't be launching any videos from here, and we're just going to carry on wandering around, spend couple of days here, I suppose, just unwind. It is a beautiful place.
It is a little island paradise, really. It's kind of creepy to think of its sordid history, as it were, and obviously there's still a lot of evidence of its past, but it feels like a completely different place now, and, well, I don't know, maybe some of the sorrows of incarceration were absolved by just being in a beautiful spot. I don't know. Did it make it any easier for them? Hard to say. Although, as we were arriving here this morning, it was covered in a thick cloud and the rain was hammering down and the sky was black as anything, and you could get the atmosphere like you see in the film just looking at the place.
This was our first sight of the island last night, some 25 miles away. We were able to see the magnificent white light of this lighthouse, which was constructed here in 1939. It was quite reassuring to see that light flashing in the distance. The squalls at the time were pretty bad and eventually got completely obscured by a huge squall that was crossing just in front of us. Luckily we didn't get too caught up in that one. And to come here and actually see the source of that light is quite dramatic. From what we can see, there were just as many buildings to accommodate the guards as there were the prisoners. Some of the photographs we've seen show the island when they first started to construct the buildings, and all this dense foliage that we now see didn't exist. That's grown up over the years, and whether it was planted or it's just naturally occurred, I don't know. Well, these are the solitary cells, solitary confinement, and quite gruesome. But noticeably quite cool at the moment, a good breeze coming through. And the islanders, I mean, we are much closer to the equator than we were in Jacare, and temperature seems to be good 4 to 5 degrees lower. Still very humid, but much cooler. Difficult really to get an idea of what is reconstruction and what is original. You can definitely see behind me, up on the wall up there, that stones have been replaced and re-cemented in, whereas just over the road not a lot's been done to the ruin at all. And in those few short years really, from 1953 to 1989, I think, when they started the work here, it's amazing how these massive buildings that were designed to keep people at bay just fell into disrepair and collapsed. All those guys for all those years endeavouring to scratch their way out with whatever they could get with their bare hands, and nature just managed to do it for them. Wow. So this is the commander's house? Yeah, director, who's now that's now being used as a museum. What's left of the hospital, which was one of the reasons why they sent a lot of prisoners here who were suffering illness. It was apparently the only area of incarceration that was being operated in these parts that had a hospital. So here we can see what remains of the cable car installation on this part of the island, and it goes, or used to go, all the way across to Devil's Island over there. Here we can see why Devil's Island was such a good prison. We can see that the waves and the sea is bashing it from both sides and making it absolutely impossible to either get on or off the island at either side, and presumably we can't see it around the north, but I presume the north is rather like this in front of me here. Again, very much impossible to launch a boat, get away. And the only calm bit, a slightly calm section, is just out in front of us there. Little rocky beach where presumably they were able to take a dinghy at certain times. Otherwise they'd be using the cable car. Great shame that that's not still in operation today. That would be a very exhilarating ride. Well, here we are in the church, and a strange scenario. We now have bars to keep us out, not keep us in. I suppose just in case they decide to reinstate it as a prison, they have a gendarmerie here. And these are some of the modern accommodation for the people who want to come and stay here. If you don't fancy camping, you can stay in these modern cell blocks that they've done quite well, I think. You know, probably give you the feeling of what it was like. Tiny little room. Trying to see if one's open that we can sneak in and have a quick look, but doesn't look like it. We're just trying to wander around the seaward path now.
Yeah, and see the bit they do around the outside of this island.
Yeah, yeah. But it's great. It's a great place to come. Obviously, it is a big tourist place, but we've not really seen many people. We saw hundreds arrive this morning on the ferries.
Well,
so
there are people about. You can hear people. You can hear kids.
Yeah, but you're not. They're not running past you and all the rest of it.
But there's not 2,000 people here. There's like 25, if you're lucky.
No, it must be more than that. There was a good 100 people came off the cats this morning.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, 3 cats were full.
Okay, 3-4 cats.
Yeah,
but
and it appears that it is a bit of a holiday place. Lots of the buildings appear to have been turned into some sort of rudimentary accommodation.
Yeah, I think you could call it. There's some wooden lodges up there. I think they call them the chalets, and sleeping accommodation is by hammock only, which they can supply if you don't bring your own.
Yeah.
Around 1860, restored by the RSMA and the pompiers, the firefighters of Paris.
But it wouldn't have been restored in 1860. It was originally from 1860, so
probably, and restored.
Yeah, and then up there we have another sign, and it looks to me, I mean, with the insignia there, it looks like, I reckon it's some sort of dance hall.
Party house.
Party house. And over there's a barbecue area. Barbecue, I reckon I reckon that it's a place where they have a shindig. Yeah, look.
Party house.
It's a party house. So there's one of the ruins left here, and obviously some sort of, I think it was someone's house, the governor's houses or something like that. Would have been a very prestigious place. And today, well, if a developer got hold of it with $1 million view like that, wow. Wouldn't you like to live in that house? Just needs a little bit of tender loving care. Okay, there's a plaque over there. Let's go and see what it says. Workshops. It was workshops? Well, I've got man cave envy. I could just love that as a man cave. Oh yeah. Oh, I wouldn't get a lot of work done looking out the window all the time though. So here we are. We've just landed the dinghy. Just down there, and we're coming into St. Joseph. Once again, lots of warning signs about what you can't do here. Definitely no swimming, they say. Shark infested, don't forget. Oh, you read about this island in the book, St. Joseph's?
Yes.
Tell them about it then. You know all about it.
Shut up. I don't know much about it. All I know is that now there's a French Foreign Legion post on the island, and the Legionnaires are the ones that have done all the work to make the island accessible for visitors. They've restored all the paths and cut away the jungle in various places. It was completely overgrown, and they've tried to make it back into an island that people can visit.
Wow. And this is what their barracks?
Yeah, this is their digs and their whatever.
So, there you go. Run away and join the French Foreign Legion, and you can end up here. Can't be bad, can it? We definitely got the second class path this side. If you look over there, that's a much better path that side, but you're not allowed through there. So we have to stay on the second class path today. Well, it's low tide, isn't it?
Yeah, it still looks pretty murky to me.
Well, I think the water is, it's not Caribbean clean, I know that here. All the little birds.
And there's nothing to stop the piranhas coming in that gap, you know. Well, I think it's a termite nest, and a bloody big one at that. Look at the bloody trees are falling down. They eat them away from the inside out. Wow.
Oh.
It's like they've been built there, but you couldn't move it's that big.
Incredible. Oh, once again, look at that. They almost look like they've been laid in there and mortared in. Obviously that's why they move. The softer rock or sandstone, whatever it is in the between them, gets washed away, and then one day very soon, huge great big crash as that lot comes down. Hopefully not today. As we come round the corner, there in the distance is Devil's Island. So you can see the little strait between the main island of Ile Royale, where we were yesterday, and Devil's Island, and oh yeah, little patch of green, and that's where the house is for, or was for, Lieutenant Dreyfus. Certainly wild. In fact, it looks like it's misty in front of us, but it's not, it's actually spray. Yes, very moving. Obviously this is the cemetery, not for the inmates, but for the guards and the people who worked here on the island. And in the foreground, it looks like it's where all the children were buried as well. And you've got to remember, in the 1800s and even the early 19th century, early 20th century, 1900s, tropical disease was a killer. And you know, before the invention of penicillin and antibiotics, if you got an infection in a tropical climate, there was a good chance that that was your lot. There was no way of really stopping the infection spreading throughout your body. Well, once again we're here, Ali.
Yeah, Steve and Ali on tour, and all by ourselves again. We have the whole joint all to ourselves. Both islands, Anchorage, it's all just for us.
Yeah, it's quite amazing. And the sun's just got about another half an hour to go before it goes down, so we're hightailing it back to the boat. When the sun goes down here, there's no light pollution, and it is pitch black, absolutely pitch black. Thanks for watching this episode of To Brazil and Beyond, and don't forget, hit that subscribe button. Also, click the little bell notification icon, and that way you'll get a notification when we manage to get our next video out. Also, give us a thumbs up and a comment in the comments section below. It really does help us make these videos. In our next episode, why don't you come and join us as we bump our way up the Kourou River and then take a visit to the Kourou space station. See you all again next time. Bye for now.